I was denied a bank loan. Okay,
The
okay.
arsonist had ugly shaped feet.
H, HD guy shot me in the leg when we were young. Yeah, don't
Okay,
worry.
that
I
was
still,
that.
I still, I still remember that. Don't worry. I'll
I
get
don't
you.
think you remember
I'll
it.
get you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel, Platinum Trophy Review. I am your host, Danny Boy, and I have here my lovely friend, HD Guy. HD, say hello and introduce yourself.
What's up, guys? What's up? What's up? What's up? Hey, I'm HC Guy. Long-time friends with Danny Boy. Been friends from kids, friends through games, naturally. The best kind of friends.
Of course, definitely.
And yeah, cool. Thanks for inviting me on.
Yeah.
I mean, you said we were going to talk about Resident Evil, so I obviously jumped at the
The
opportunity.
opportunity. Yes. So, before we get into the meat, that juicy meat of Resident Evil, I take it that you are a trophy hunter, a platinum hunter. How did you get into that?
Yes. Well, I got into it through lockdown, I think.
Hmm.
Lockdown was when I got into it. I think obviously because everybody had extra time during lockdown.
True.
And yeah. And it was actually through a mutual friend of ours, obviously G Flash, and he did a lot of trophy hunting, and I said, let me give this a go. I had like one or
Hmm.
two plats, the easy ones.
Of course. Hmm.
And I mean, we all gamers, and we always, we play a lot of games, and I just thought to myself, let's see, let's actually give this trophy hunting thing a go, and I got hooked, and
Correct.
I'm still trophy hunting.
It's a bug, I'll tell you that. And shout out to
It
G
is a
Flash.
bug, yeah, for giving us an unhealthy obsession.
Exactly. So
It's
so
borderline unhealthy sometimes,
that
actually.
is that is true. That is true. I haven't seen my kids in weeks. So HD, I think it's fair
Yeah,
to say there are a lot of Resident Evil games out there, right?
yeah.
You want to take a guess? How many?
Oh wow, that's a good question. I actually never thought of. I mean, you're talking about spin-offs and
Everything.
the
Everything.
canon series, everything. Oh wow, are you
Everything.
asking me because you know, or you're asking me because you want to know
I
and
want to
want to
know.
see?
I
Oh,
want
you
to
want
test.
to know?
I believed you to be an expert in Resident Evil, so I'm testing that theory.
Yes, more storyline, plot-wise, and just generally the lore and stuff. But I don't necessarily know the games. 'Cause I know there's a lot of mobile games. There's
Oh
the
no, no,
handheld
mobile,
games.
mobile, mobile, no, mobile in the bin.
None of
That
that
doesn't
shit.
exist.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Uh, okay, so there's obviously 8 canon games, 9 if you include uh, Code Veronica.
Okay.
There's Survivor. There's Revelations 1 and 2.
So quite a lot, to be honest.
Yeah, there's a few. Yeah,
And
there's Operation Raccoon City.
oh yeah, we played
The
that
game that we played for a day
too.
and finished it and never played it again.
Yes. Oh yes. Wonderful memories when Capcom started
The-
going downhill.
oh yeah. Oh wow. Yeah,
And I
we
would
went a bit
say
of denial that time.
correct. Yes. And I would be correct in saying that you've played almost all of them.
All the canon ones, and yeah, a few of the spin-off ones. Obviously, I played Gun Survivor back in the PS1, and it was pretty cool. I liked it. Very different, very Time Crisis-ish. Except Time Crisis was on the rails. You actually got to move around with your character on that Gun Survivor one. We played Operation Raccoon City. Yeah, I've pretty much played all of them, and for the most part enjoy the series. Especially
Okay.
the OG.
Oh, definitely.
OG
Yes.
three games. Naturally, that's where the love started,
Yeah.
as I'm sure most fans started there. So
Well, you could say more or less OG. When you speak about the OGs, which we could put in OG the fourth game. Oh, look at me stuttering. I mean,
yeah,
yeah, the OG.
you could
When you
say
talk
the
about the
fourth one
OGs,
is
the fourth one is OG
yeah.
as well.
It's kind of OG. It's kind of OG, although that does
It's
also
kind
mark
of OG.
the
You got people saying
it's
it's the best Resident Evil game ever.
That is true, and that's because people came. That was their first Resident Evil game. Because remember that one came in on PS2,
Hmm.
and that was also the one that's sort of been ported the most. The
Oh
Resident Evil
yes,
has the most ports,
yes.
um, and it's the one that everybody got into, and the ones that didn't necessarily like the first games liked that one more because I think it was more accessible. More, it was the tank controls wasn't there. It was more
Hmm.
3D. rendered
Correct.
environments, more action in there, even though it was still horror centric.
Correct.
Yeah,
It was made for everyone, more or less. So I think they were going for that in the market. So, what do you think?
no, 100%, 100%, and that was a gift and a curse, that game, because it was a fantastic game, but it also it gave Capcom that sort of hunger for more action
Yeah.
in the Resident Evil, and like I said, it marked the change of it, where that's what the reason we got 5 and 6 was because of 4.
Correct. Yes, I think they misunderstood the success of Resident Evil 4, where the action was just complementary. They thought
Yes.
they thought let's take this and make that the game, and then that's where 5 and 6 went off the rails a little bit.
Absolutely, and you must remember also that was the time, that was the height of the ascent of Call of Duty and Battlefield and those very action oriented games. That was when those games were ruling the market. That was in the time where there was a lull of sort of good survival horror, or just horror games in general.
Correct.
In the market, yeah.
Yeah, you had your Resident Evil. What is that other one that you always used to go on back in high school? It was very Final Fantasy. You played as a woman with blonde hair.
Oh, Parasite Eve.
Parasite Eve.
Oh
Yeah,
man, I love Parasite Eve. Oh,
Exactly.
that game is screaming for a remake.
True. But like I said, like you said, back in those days, I think it was a golden age of survival horror, or horror in general.
Oh man, it really was. There's so many. There's this channel on YouTube I watch called Avalanche Reviews, and this guy, he does videos on Resident Evil clones, and it's so interesting. He's literally done like 3 or 4 separate videos, and they're all about 30 minutes each, where he talks, and each is like 5 or 6 different Resident Evil clones. So there's so many different clones of it. And Parasite Eve is one of them. I got my hands on one of this odd sort of survival. It was one and done kind of games. It wasn't a franchise. It was called Galarians. Have you ever heard of that?
Not at all.
So weird. It was just so very tank controls ish, very Resident Evil inspired. But another clone. But there's so many games that was at that time trying to emulate that.
True. So let's reverse right back to the beginning. All right, to Resident Evil 1. So like, how did that game fall into your lap?
Oh man, Resident Evil 1. Resident Evil 1, it was purchased by my grandmother. Actually, she bought my grandmother in Australia. She bought me like a bunch of games, and when I went up to go visit them, she obviously presented me with a few games. And it was a variety of them. It was Crash Bandicoot, it was all these PS1 games, and in there was a Resident Evil, and I was like, I've never heard of it,
Yeah, what the hell is this?
But she bought it because she knew I love horror. I've always loved just horror as a kid. Just loved being scared shitless.
Okay, well, you're the only one. I don't remember my childhood being like that.
I don't know why. I can't explain it. But man, what I also can't explain is just the general feeling I got when I first played it. It just absolutely blew my mind. There was nothing like it at the time. And I was absolutely scared. I remember I was scared shitless to just open a door, just to see what was in the next room. You know what I mean? And just like the 3D models with the pre-rendered backgrounds, the
cheesy dialogue,
It was so cool. It just felt so huge, even though technically it wasn't. But I mean, you were in this mansion, and you knew you could go anywhere in this mansion if you found the right key or did this. When it started opening up, man, it was just like, it just blew my mind. Just the game design, to the story, to the music, everything.
And that's where you could say that's where the legend was born. Resident Evil franchise.
Absolutely, that's when the one franchise that I absolutely love and probably will love for the rest of my life. The love for it was born.
Today, to prepare for this, I thought, you know what, I'll jump on PlayStation Premium, download Resident Evil Director's Cut, and play it for a bit, right? Yeah, and I didn't get very far. I died. I'll be honest.
Oh yeah. One thing they really missed. Sorry, go.
I ran out of bullets again.
Oh, naturally. Oh no, dude. you playing way too much Overwatch.
Yeah.
You cannot run and gun in that game 100%. Dude, I'm such a miser with my ammo in there. I just run
Yeah.
around. And you know, when you get proficient in these OG games, you understand the collision detection and how the tank controls work. You know exactly how to run in a room and go around a
Yeah.
zombie. And
Yeah,
there's
but
certain lines you can run. And
exactly. So who's failed miserably at this game and has never actually completed it? How would you go about doing this? Like, what are some pointers?
So you were talking about trophy hunting earlier,
Mm-hmm.
and fun fact about something I didn't mention earlier is I'm on a mission to platinum all the Resident Evil games that have platinums, and
Okay.
I've gotten pretty much all of them except all the numbered versions at least,
Mm-hmm.
except freaking Code Veronica, which is I need to do the time trials there. But
Okay.
anyway, there's a big missed opportunity here with this Resident Evil Director's Cut with their release, and they didn't release trophy support. So, you know,
That's a bummer.
it is a bummer. And disclaimer, if you want to tackle this game, like you say now,
Mm.
it's for me and you, trophy hunters, it's going to be a bit difficult because you're going to have to
Mm.
commit to something
Mm.
where there's not going to be any trophy payout, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things where just got to take your time, read the files you come across,
Mm-hmm.
map the mansion out in your head. It's completely mapped out in my head, dude. Like if I
Mm.
wish I could just lift and shift from my brain to yours, so you could know. I know where everything is in that game, and that's just from repeated playing. You know,
Yeah, it's true. Trial and
that's
error,
back in the
basically.
time. Yeah, trial and error. It's just trial and error, and
Oh.
just paying attention to everything. Yeah.
Okay, so before we leave Resident Evil 1, okay, what was like your best moment in Resident Evil 1 and like your scariest moment in Resident Evil 1?
The best moment in Resident Evil 1.
And if I can cut you off there, and just to add an additional question onto it, what makes you love Resident Evil 1 as well?
I think for everything I mentioned before, like the music, the atmosphere, and I'm a big fan of like, and I think this is also the way I appreciated it when I got older, just general game design, and what they did with what they had, you know, just the
Correct.
design of the mansion, and the pre-rendered backgrounds. They were beautiful. They were like every angle you see in there is like it's just meticulously crafted. Every camera angle. And the music was fantastic. The story was great. I think it's the story that sort of interests me the most.
Yeah, I think it's something different, wasn't it? Obviously back in the day, you know,
Yeah.
it wasn't something that's been done a lot.
Absolutely. And the thing is, this was pre sort of zombie renaissance where everything was fucking zombies.
Yeah.
This was the reason. This game is the fucking reason. Everything is zombies all over the place now. It's Resident fucking Evil.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's iconic in that way.
Correct. So little HD running through this mansion. What was the moment that made you switch off the console, and made you change your pants?
Oh man, I think that first time the dogs jumped through that window.
I was gonna say. I think that's
my pants, dude.
That was everyone's.
That was everyone's shit your pants moment, really. And that must have been that was the one moment where I shat myself. And I think but I mean, there was also a few moments where I felt like immense dread. And there's a moment where you go in the basement of the mansion, which is like a facility and stuff, and you come into the aqueduct where they keep Neptune, the fucking shark. And the aqueduct is essentially flooded, so the walkway where you're walking on is flooded, and the shark is released. So like you walk, but you don't see him initially. So you're walking, and you're halfway through a fucking. You can only go forward or back, and you just see like a fin pop up on the side, and you just, dude, it's like immense dread as you see that. It's just like just fucking run, and just like shitting bricks as you're running, you know. And I think that moment is really epic. Like one of my favorite moments in the game is the is that.
Yeah, I don't know who said it, but I think it was a director when it came to movies. He's like, the best way to have the audience feel dread or horror or like whatever is actually to not show the monster or whatever. It's just to make you aware of his presence. He's there.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And then you'll do the rest. The viewer or the player in this case will do the rest. And like,
Absolutely.
I think I still remember the first time those dogs burst through that window. I swear to God, I never switched off a game console as fast as that in my life. I legit switched it off, dude, and I said, "Nah, screw this. I ain't playing this."
Nope.
I noped
That's
out.
a whole lot of nope.
And I went to go play Crash Bandicoot, and I was happy.
Yeah, there you go. You needed to be in your safe space at that time.
Exactly. And
Oh, no, 100%.
and what was like the best moment, like your most kick-ass? I don't know, your best moment in Resident Evil 1 that makes it the most memorable.
Makes it the most memorable. No, I think it's not a specific moment. I think it's just when it starts clicking, and you've picked up, you've done a few puzzles and sort of explored the mansion to a degree, where you start unlocking other doors and getting to new places, and just that whole idea of the backtracking in a single environment that's initially locked down, and you start opening it up. That was always the most kick-ass thing about Resident Evil for me. And that goes back to what I was saying about the game design of it. I mean, that's one of the core elements of survival horror, which is essentially my favorite genre. It's, it's obviously the horror theme, the single environment where you backtrack and up and down in it, and obviously the inventory management. So, running from one part of the mansion to the other on danger, you got no health, you got no ink ribbons to save, and you've got this key for this door that you can get into now, but now shit, you need to go in this corridor, and there's 3 zombies, you've got 5 bullets left. What do you do? It's
true.
That is my favorite part about Resident Evil. So it's not a moment, it's just that feeling that you get from
Correct. I think the game in itself is like very iconic. You've got the iconic setting, the mansion, iconic characters, Jill, Chris, Barry,
Becca.
correct. Iconic villain, Wesker, and then the soundtrack and everything. So, okay. So, I mean, I think if you had to say to anyone what was the most iconic moment in Resident Evil 1, I'm sure 99% would say the first encounter with that zombie.
Oh yes, 100%. That's when you realize what you were actually up against.
Exactly.
And and this is also before like YouTube and game trailers and shit. And when you played that game for the first time, that was the first time you were seeing that shit.
True.
And you were like, what the fuck is going on here? I was like, fuck, this dogs. You come in this mansion. What the fuck's going on here? There's nobody here. What is going on here? You know what I mean? And why are all these doors locked? Can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And then you walk in that one fucking room, and this dude, what does this dude do? What? Ah! Like what the fuck?
And how many people didn't have their gun or knife equipped when going into that zombie fight?
And that's why I'm pretty sure a lot of people that didn't get survival horror at the time because there was no such thing.
Correct.
The first thing you do at that time is you take out your fucking gun and you shoot. You empty the clip in him, and then afterwards he essentially gets up again. For that cutscene. But that's if you're playing with Jill, and then.
It depends on who you play with.
Yeah, if you take him out of Jill, you just run back out and Barry takes him out with the Magnum.
Saving your bullets, yeah.
Yeah, saving your bullets. But I mean, again, you probably wasted your 15 rounds already on him.
Sure.
But I mean, and then the survival horror part kicks in where you're running around. You got no bullets now. And it's all because of that zombie.
I know. This game I think, is the one of the stingiest when it comes to bullets, I find.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. 100%.
And did you know, before we end on Resident Evil 1, that there is a secret zombie encounter with Jill? Okay, so when you start the game, you're playing as Jill, and then you go into the hallway, and then you go into the dining room area before you get to the first zombie. If you go out twice, apparently the zombie will come into the hallway.
Oh, okay, into that dining room.
Not in the dining room, into the hallway. Where
Into
Chris
the
and
actual foyer. Oh
yeah,
shit.
we have to test this. I was like I said, I was reading up facts for this,
Yeah.
and it said that. But anyway,
Oh man,
that's
Resident
some
Evil, the gift that keeps on giving.
correct. All these years later. All right. So now next to the some would even say the goat of all Resident Evil games, Resident Evil 2.
Oh yes, 100 and bajillion%.
Correct. But
The goat.
this game did everything a sequel should do and more.
Man, it's the Terminator Judgment Day of the series. You know, it's Aliens. You know, it's what Aliens did for Alien. You know,
True.
it's the essential sequel. You know, and sequels, you know, having to do it bigger and better. You know, but while keeping the actual, you know, soul of what made the initial thing.
Correct.
Good.
It just did everything better.
It just did everything better, and just it took what I loved about the game and just added onto it in every single way. Mainly, obviously, the story, you know.
Yeah.
And then now, you heard about Raccoon City, you heard about you know, everything else, and you got to now experience it.
Yeah.
You know,
Because if you think about it, 'cause Resident Evil 1 it's in a mansion, you're by yourself, you know, so you're like typical horror scenario, like, oh, I need to get back to civilization.
Yes.
Game 2,
very, very isolated. Yeah.
exactly. Resident Evil 2, civilization in this case, which is Raccoon City, has fallen, and you're like, what the hell happened here? You know, we've gone from
gotta escape. Yeah.
we've gone from a few zombies in a mansion to the whole town being or city being zombie.
Exactly. Oh,
I think
man.
that's when you start the game with Leon or Claire, you're just standing there in the middle of the road, and all of a sudden, out of that fire, like 10 zombies start jumping. Like, whoa!
Dude, just like immediately. I mean, you start the game safe and sound in a foyer in Resident Evil 1. Resident
Exactly.
Evil 2, they throw you straight in the middle of the shit.
Exactly.
And you kind of got to weave your way through and, you know, get to Kendo's gun shop.
Oh, yes. I mean, yeah, like, exactly. Iconic. It's like, it is very iconic. And then from the start, like Resident Evil, from the start, like you say, you're not even 5 minutes into the game and you already get to iconic place, Kendo's gun shop.
Yeah.
And
super iconic.
I think...
No,
sorry, you're saying we're both thinking, and then like you get to so we get Kendo's gun shop. There's two obviously ways to get the shotgun. Unfortunately, if you think about it, and then we get to like
gun.
What was it? Oh yeah, because it was.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
The bow gun, yeah.
But was the bow gun any good?
It was okay. Like, I mean, you the one shot shoot them and they'd fall back and stumble, but they won't die. They die after like 3 bolts, I think. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a bit shitty. Well, with a shotgun, they go down in one.
Oh yeah, you can just do that.
Just aim for the
shoot their heads off. Yeah.
Correct.
Exactly.
So then we get to the next iconic scene. It's like, if you just think about it, it's just iconic place after iconic place in that game.
It really is. It really is. And the first thing that sort of, I'm assuming you're talking about the
police station.
Police department.
Oh yeah, damn straight.
100%. And just that theme song as you walk in and it pans up and you see the police station. That right there is the most pivotal sort of Resident Evil 2 moment. Like, this is now, you know, iconic.
Yes, and it gives you that false sense of security because you think, okay, the police station, I'm safe, there'll be cops here. And you know, and then not at all. Everyone's dead except for Marvin. Bless you.
Yeah, it's just a mansion all over again, you know.
Exactly.
No, absolutely. No, and again, I'm gonna go back to saying how rich the actual artwork of the environments were.
Definitely.
Like, it really felt. I mean, I'm jumping a bit ahead to Resident Evil 6 here, but I mean, one thing that got me about Resident Evil 6 was how drab the environments looked. It looked very like it was a video. This was a video game that you were playing. You know, there's no life. The places didn't feel lived in.
Yeah, generic video game background.
Generic video game shit.
Yeah.
And this just like the police station felt real. You know, all the rooms felt real, lived in. Although, fun fact, there's not one bathroom in the police station.
Oh, but obviously it was locked off for
Yeah,
HD, you know.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's not, but I mean, you go into most of the rooms and there's no bathrooms. That's why in the remake they actually purposefully put bathrooms in some of the sections.
Okay. We're gonna okay. We'll jump to the remake now. I have like okay. So, for all those who are listening, I'm a big Resident Evil fan. Not the biggest, but I have played a few of them. I have to admit. I've played the first, but I haven't finished it. I've played the second. I've played the remake. I played the third. I played the remake, and I played the fourth one. All right. So when come to remake, when that was announced, you would agree with me that the internet blew up that day.
Oh man,
with that demo.
That trailer was so freaking cool. They just got everything right with Leon and Claire and just it was a good and in a world of infinite remakes, you know, and reimaginings and stuff. I think they really did a good job with that remake.
True. So
really good.
So in the remake, right? Obviously, when you get into the police station, you go to your right, you go through that area. At first, I was snail's pace walking through there, checking all my corners.
Oh, yes.
I say, I know you bastards are gonna pop out somewhere. I'm ready for you. So obviously, so no one pops out. So okay, cool. We get to the police guy we meet half of him at least. And he gives us he gives us that book, and the minute he gives us that book, I said, "Oh, you bastard!" I've walked right in the middle of this, and I've never felt so much dread when those you skip the first, the one that busts in, you can skip him. You skip the ones breaking through, but when you go down that corridor and those two walk right in front of you, I was like, "Oh my God, no!"
I pictured it in my head.
Dude, I know it's no. Don't make these games so scary, guy. Start me off with like a machine gun.
Yeah, and just the way you escaped it, you pull under that grate and he grabs your leg. Shit, then Marvin saves you. Oh,
yes.
Epic, bro.
Yes.
And what's so cool about that, and this is such a fantastic facet of the remake, is that they've made it very dark and dingy. And that whole scene was so, because you relied on your flashlight, and
exactly.
And you also realize, and you think back like, oh fuck, if you think about the original games, they were extremely light. You know, there wasn't very dark. You know what I mean? It was it was the mansion was well lit, whereas this one, it was very, very dark.
Yeah, well, like you say,
added to the horror, the dread of it.
Correct.
Such a great scene.
And then like everything was improved in that game. Well, obviously graphics, gameplay. I'm a big fan of the third person over the shoulder. The next. And so Marvin we got more of Marvin, which is always a plus. Unfortunately.
Oh man, well, that was really cool.
Yeah,
I would have loved the Marvin DLC just like played before the fall of the police station would have been really cool.
That is a good idea for a DLC. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll see it now because of it's been so long since Resident Evil 2's got an upgrade. But it would be a good idea. Maybe it could be what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know what the word I'm looking for. It's I'm gonna obviously when we finish this, the word's gonna come to me.
Oh, yes, naturally.
But just a standalone game, not DLC. Maybe I'm thinking maybe a standalone. Maybe I don't know, dude.
Okay, just Marvin's adventure. It would have been cool if we just got a scenario, just a scenario like we did with the Ghost Survivors, which was scenarios for like the fucking shit if they got chowed in the beginning. You get this scenario. You see Mayor Warren's daughter, so the mayor of Raccoon City, his name is Mayor Warren. And his daughter, who he left in the care of Brian Irons, and what a sick guy Brian Irons is. He's even more sick in here, my bro. Like he's just like, he's like he's an old greasy little fuck.
Expanding that law.
Yeah, exactly. You got in the other Ghost Survivors, you got that other soldier in Hunk's sort of team.
Yes,
it was so cool. It was so cool playing as Kendo. That was a really cool one. he had a bit more of a tragic story in this one. They expanded on his character a bit more, which is
Correct.
fantastic. They expanded on a lot of things, which
Exactly.
is really cool.
Yes,
Yeah.
they really respected the source material and then expanded on it as well, like you say.
100%.
And then let's because we both love Resident Evil 2. Let's put more time on it. Trophy wise, now you have platinum Resident Evil, and so have I.
Yes.
What do you think was the worst trophy to get?
I think I wouldn't say the worst because I enjoy the experience. I think the most difficult trophy to get might have been the one for Ghost Survivors. I think that might have been the one. Yeah, because that was a lot of trial and error. I don't think the game itself was too difficult. It depends on how you play it. Obviously, you can't run and gun. If you play it the way it's intended to be played, then yeah, it's okay. But nothing particularly stands out for me as being too difficult besides that Ghost Survivor stuff.
Okay, maybe let me refresh
Maybe
your memory.
you can jog my memory.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously the Ghost Survivor one, the fourth Survivor, we play as Hunk escaping the sewers.
Yeah.
That put me on edge. That was I had to watch a few guides and to learn that one. Then we've got the infamous beat the game without healing. Beat the game with underneath 10,000. Well, no, not time trials. Just beat the game in less than 10,000 steps. I think it was.
Yes.
And beat the game without opening the item box.
Okay, yeah, that was a tricky one. But I mean, this is why I'm also saying that those ones are kind of easy because you can unlock infinite weapons. And then you literally just run around with an infinite weapon.
I have to stop you there, HD. I have to stop you there because where's your infinite weapon? In the item box. And you can't open it.
Yes, you are right. You are right. You are 100% correct. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Yes. How did we do that? I can't remember.
On very easy mode. I'll tell you that 100%.
Much. Yeah, and obviously having to discard shit or whatever.
I watched.
Really cool. And something they did in Resident. Sorry to cut you short there. Something they did in Resident Evil 0. There's two things. I'm jumping a bit here. There's two things they've added into Resident Evil 0 that I've always wanted them to add into other Resident Evil games. So, first of all, Resident Evil 0, you can switch between two characters at any given time. At any given fucking time.
Is this on? Sorry, because I haven't played it. Is this on the train?
This is on the train. As when you start on the train, but you go you go to other locations.
Okay.
But I only played this in last year. I got platinum for it, by the way.
Oh, congratulations!
So quite a tricky one as well. But you can run to opposite sides of the map with Rebecca and Billy and switch instantly between the two of them. It was amazing. It absolutely blew my mind. And it's made me think like why they never added that into other games. And more importantly, we were talking about not opening the inventory box. In Resident Evil 0, and this is probably a gift and a curse because you gotta fucking remember where you drop shit. You can actually drop something on the floor and pick it up again. So if you wanted to pick something up, you can drop something. If your inventory is full, you can drop it, pick something else up and run away, and then you can come back and fetch that other thing later.
Wow. Okay. I did not know that.
So that was a pretty cool addition to that.
And why do you think that was never implemented in the remakes?
That's a good question. I don't know. I have no idea.
Get Capcom on the line. We'll bring them now.
Dude, but yeah.
I was just thinking on that note. If you think back to the original Resident Evil 2, there were instances where you would pick up shotgun shells or I think it was mainly just ammo, where before you'd pick it up, it would prompt some text saying, shotgun shells, this could be very useful if I left this for Claire. And then on your B run, you could pick it up. So, so I think Resident Evil 2 was also implemented, the birth of that. Where Resident Evil 0...
Because Zero came out, when did Zero come out? It came out like after... I can't remember, but it came after 1 and 2.
But in 0, what platform did it came on? Is that a PS2?
It initially came out on GameCube.
On GameCube.
So it was around the time that the Resident Evil 1 remake came out.
Oh, okay.
Another fantastic remake, and the remaster of that remake is on PS4, which
Mhm.
is one of my coveted plats, because you
Correct.
actually need about six playthroughs. I did it in 8 because I died on one of the no save playthroughs. 2 of them.
I remember you raging in the group chat about that.
Bro, don't even get me started. But that one, you had an invisible enemy mode. You had to
I wanted to
essentially play
talk
the
to you
entire
about that.
game with
How
you
the
can't
hell?
see the enemy.
So let's just go to it. That remaster is the better word to be used, right? Or remake for Resident Evil.
It's the remaster of the remake. Because
Oh my god!
the
It's the
remake was came
RR.
out in it's the RR, yeah.
Yeah.
The remake was obviously of the first one that came out in
Hmm.
2000, the remake, and then they remastered that for and ported it to PlayStation.
Okay,
Later on, yeah.
so that game obviously came with trophy lists. It came with a platinum. HD guy says, "I'm gonna make this game my bitch and platinum it," but you run into this wall of invisible enemies. All right, so I've read this trophy guide. How the hell do you go about doing that?
So by the time you play the invisible enemies mode, you've already finished the game about 4 times. Roughly.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So you kind of know where things are and where certain enemies are. So it's not completely, you can't see them, you can see them in reflections. So if there's water on the ground or like a mirror nearby, you can see them like that. And you can hear them as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still, it does add to it. You can still kind of make out where they are.
Mm-hmm.
But I was definitely running into a lot of enemies.
I can imagine.
Around a lot of corners, yeah. Because it's hard to run around them. You don't know where the fuck they are.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But
No,
like,
it was
yeah.
tricky. It was tricky.
I can imagine. I
At
saw
least it wasn't. I obviously didn't do it on a no save playthrough.
Oh yeah.
So you could save and you can get, you can get further and further and further each time.
All right. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna be real with you now. I ain't getting that platinum. Okay. You asking me to put myself through Resident Evil remake, which is really gonna scare the shit out of me, and then you want me to try and play the game with invisible enemies. It ain't happening.
That was a really cool, and that actually introduced the whole story of Lisa Trevor and George Trevor, who was the architect of the mansion, and his whole story, and you know what Spencer did with him afterwards, fucking buried him on the site. You know, they killed everybody that was involved with creating of the mansion because of all these secrets and whatever. And Lisa Trevor and I forget the mom's name, or George's wife, they were experimented on. And that was a really cool. You get out of the mansion and you run through this little forest to this house that's on the side where George Trevor used to live. And Lisa Trevor's there. She returns every time, and wanted to see her, looking for her mother, but she's wearing her mother's face. The skin of her mother is over her face. It's fucking trippy, bro. That was a really cool addition to the Resident Evil remake.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'll watch a let's play of it, but I ain't playing that game.
Yeah, I'll watch a let's play. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah.
I ain't playing it, bro. I'm sorry.
I played that.
All right. So, one last question before moving on. Resident Evil 1 remade in the Resident Evil 2 and 3 style.
Oh,
yes or no?
Buy it in a heartbeat. I'd buy it in a heartbeat.
Okay, so I'm a big advocate for this happening. I would imagine all Resident Evil players would buy this.
Oh, 100%. It would be the second remake though. So I don't know if it's like a remake of the remake, because if they add Lisa Trevor in and that whole storyline, then it is essentially a remake of the remake. Because that wouldn't be a remake of the first one. That would be a remake.
Well, it could be Resident Evil 1 RRR, and that'll be like an inside joke for everyone. All right. Yeah. So now we've talked about Resident Evil 1. We've talked about the GOAT. Now we're going to go to Resident Evil 3, which I think every good Resident Evil fan knows had a very short productions. I think both. Actually, both of them.
The original and the remake, yeah.
I think both were done in under a year.
Yeah, and because Resident Evil 3 was been developed simultaneously with 2. 2 and 3. Yes, it's classic. It's an OG. It took certain environments that you were in before, like the police station, and flipped things around. I mean, they flipped the whole thing around with adding Nemesis and the mechanic of,
Correct.
someone chasing you throughout the game, which was absolutely crazy. I do think where it was a step down is that I felt like it was less story. And I want to just jump back quickly to Resident Evil 2, and I think Resident Evil 2 has this illusion of having the most or the longest gameplay that you can have in the OG Resident Evil games is because of the zapping system, which is essentially the 4 scenarios, A and B scenarios for each character. You know what I mean? So depending on if Leon swerves the police car, if he crashes it straight, Leon and Claire will land on opposite sides of the explosion and start on different sides of the game. And they'll both have A and B scenarios. So you essentially play the game 4 times, and it's 4 different sort of scenarios. Yeah. And in Resident Evil 1, you had Chris's scenario, and you had Jill's scenario. And in part 3, you just had Jill. You know what I mean? So that's why I think that one felt like the shortest. Well, it was also technically the shortest.
But I think they made up with that with choosing. I think one of the first choices
the live action system. Yeah.
Correct. Yes. So the game had replayability, but I always chose the choices that I've made before. I thought I know what's going to happen here. I'll just take this choice.
Whatever choice it is to run away, that's the choice.
And I'm trying to think now. You were onto something, and I completely forgot what it was.
The game was so rich, and I was talking about Nemesis and how he just popped in any time. You'd be in a room and just walking and exploring, and just you hear the door open and close, and the music will start.
Yes.
And you'll be like, oh shit! You're like just looking, where the fuck is this? And
yes, there were no safe. Well, there were some safe moments, but like you say, I think the first that happens in the police station. You remember when you run up up the stairs, and then when you do what you have to do upstairs, and then when you're running back, you hear a glass break, and you start to hear Nemesis breathe. And you're like, oh god, he's coming, he's coming. You run down those stairs, run past that window, that motherfucker bursts through that window.
Yes.
I swear to God, I had to hold it in, dude. I was gonna mess up my pants. I get to the door, good 15 minutes, getting my anxiety down. I walk, the camera angle change, and as you say, you just hear that door open. And I'm like, no, and I just see this motherfucker run, and he tries to Falcon punch you. And I'm like,
Yeah, absolutely, because that's the thing. He only comes in on the change of the angle. He'll never walk in the door if you're looking at the door. As soon as that camera angle changes, the door it closes, and you're like, oh shit, run! Yeah,
and then with the remakes, going back to Resident Evil 2, because that's where it all started. When you get introduced to Mr. X. And then I don't know why, but like I say, my stupid brain was like, okay, I just need to run a few rooms and I can lose him. And then I ran down to the hall, because the hall is like also the safe zone.
It's a safe room. It's a safe room. Yeah.
And you see this motherfucker walk in there and start chasing, and then you realized, oh shit, this guy's not going to let up. And I think that just blew everyone's mind as well.
Yes, that did blow everyone's mind, because everyone ran immediately back into that room when they first saw him. Or he freaking lifts that freaking helicopter up. That was such an iconic entrance, actually.
As well, exactly, yes.
Damn, and then you obviously like, there's so much. I love watching the reaction videos, and there's so many great reaction videos of that specific moment, with people just losing their shit when Mr. X rocks up, and then obviously you run out and you go back and you're like, okay, cool. I'm safe in this hallway, and he just opens up and you see him coming down the stairs. You're like, what is happening right now?
Yeah, and in pure irony, the whole area doesn't become a safe area anymore, because apart from Mr. X, it's filled with zombies as well.
Yes, that's the one save room that has enemies in. It's quite interesting.
It's terrible.
But what's so funny is when you open up, when he's chasing and you run into a save room and the door's still open, he does this thing where he bends down and he looks in the room. Yeah. It's just so freaky, dude. It's like come on, let's go. You know?
Oh, he's like, you're saving. Okay, I'll just wait outside.
I'll just wait outside.
Get your ass ready for
Yeah.
beating when you come outside.
And you know what? Jumping back to Resident Evil 3, might have been one of the most disappointing things about the remake is that they made Nemesis so scripted.
Yeah, I found him
Not
more
so
annoying.
Scripted, he was scripted.
Yeah.
In the sense that he didn't pursue you like Mr. X did or Nemesis did in the original game.
Yeah, I think because when we first played it, we had a bit of nostalgia in our eyes and we loved it. But once
it settled in,
yeah, we were a bit disappointed by all three of us.
Yeah,
and
I was disappointed by the length. Of course, I think that's everybody's biggest disappointment.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. You know, I tee you up, you knock it out of the park. You know,
exactly.
But the other things like skipping over like the clock tower and the graveyard, all these iconic areas in the game. They didn't add to the game; they took away from it. Whereas
exactly.
Resident Evil gave you the orphanage.
True.
Which was something that was spoken about in the lore, and you got to see that, and you got so much extra stuff in Resident Evil 2. You got less in Resident Evil 3.
Yeah. Resident Evil 2, I will die on the hill that is the benchmark when it comes to remaking a game. If
100%.
I don't care what series it is, you know, or what genre. You need to look what they did at Resident Evil 2, and you need to apply that to your remake.
You want to bank on nostalgia? You want to cash in on nostalgia? That is how you fucking do it. That's how you make the buck, you know. But that's how you appease the fans as well. I agree with you. It is the best remake of a video game ever, and right up there with it is the remake of Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, okay.
Amazing.
I wouldn't know.
Wow. Man, any fan of that original game, you are loving that fucking game. One of the hardest plats, by the way. 7 out of 10 plat, the hard mode is very difficult.
Okay, we forget about Final Fantasy. Don't bring your weeb shit in here, okay? Okay, senpai, focus HD on the Nemesis. All right, so Resident Evil 3. Okay, so we get out. That's like the first game we get Jill back. And and what's expanded on. Also, what was new was this was a prequel, and I think we get one of the best characters, or one of not the best of the best looking, Carlos Oliveira.
Oh yeah, he looked really cool instead of like just being a Hispanic Leon, you know. He actually looked really cool. You know, he was a very cool character, and his section of the game was pretty cool also.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love Carlos's.
Yeah, the whole. I think what Resident Evil 3 did well was it didn't make you feel like you were alone. I don't know if that makes sense. That you're like, okay, I'm busy fighting my way here, but I've got some Marines. Marines are helping me with that as well. Yeah. I think it was the aliens, like you say, to the franchise.
Yes, because Aliens was much more action-packed, you know, with the Space Marines, you know, fighting along with Sigourney as opposed to the claustrophobic, you know, hallways of the ship in part 1. Yeah.
Correct. And so like I said, Resident Evil 3, the OG, everyone loved. Then they did the remake. It was alright. It, like you say, it took away more. And I just need to, what do you think? Why did they take? Oh, well, let me rephrase that. Let me rephrase that. Let me start over. I think that they cut corners content-wise to get it out soon because they're riding 100%. The wave of the remake 2, and they thought they could catch lightning twice.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. They did want to release it as soon after Resident Evil 2 as they could. I mean, so I get what they tried to do there, but I mean, this is a perfect example of when, you know, corporate decisions are, you know, over what the game needs.
Yeah.
You know, versus what the stakeholders need. The shareholders,
Yeah, I mean,
it's where that took us with it.
I wouldn't have mind waiting a extra year for this game. The game was going to sell.
100%.
I don't understand,
Absolutely.
but it's like you say, must have been the big apps that you were there to try and push it out sooner.
Yeah.
And that's the stain. That's what bothers me. It's the stain on a decent game, because it is a decent game, but
it's an incredibly good game, and there was a lot of fantastic moments in it. It just wasn't all it could be, and I think that's what angers people the most, is because all the ingredients for a fantastic game was there.
Yeah, you had everything.
It just needed more love. It needed to fucking bake in the oven a little more. It just wasn't done. At least it wasn't a broken game. The game played fine.
True.
With all these games that have been released that's fucking broken these days, at least the game was played well.
Okay, and to end 3 on. Okay, so once again, you've got the platinum. I've got the platinum. Worst trophy. Or most difficult trophy. Almost annoying.
Trophy. That was actually a very incredibly easy plat, that one, compared to 2. I can't remember the trophy list now, if I must be honest, so I can't really say. Although, the collectibles, the raccoons.
Yeah.
The raccoons was in part 2.
Yes,
part
it was the smiley dude. The smiley dude. I can't remember.
Yeah, some cuck like that. I don't know. I can't remember, but yeah, those were kind of irritating to get, I guess.
Correct. The trophy list is
in general.
Correct, that's true. The trophy list is very similar. For me, it was finishing the game off in Inferno mode, which was the highest one. It was the highest difficulty. I think it's called Inferno mode. If you want to get the plat, I think it's maybe 4 or 5 runs, right? To finish the game, to get the plat. And like you say, after about your 4th run, you know where everything is. You've got your Infinity rocket launcher, and so I was riding high on the hype train, and what was my bang hitting myself in the wall moment was Stage 3 Nemesis on Inferno mode. Now you and G Flash say you didn't have a hard time, but I was grinding this dude out for 2 hours straight trying to kill him.
What was stage 3 again?
That's the end where you got with the railgun.
With the railgun. No, dude, that is actually that's exactly where I struggled too. I don't know.
I'm not the only one then. Okay, I'm not the only one then.
I did struggle there. I remember I died quite a bit there. We had to shoot those blisters, or those pus balls. But he kept, you had to anticipate his attacks and stuff. That reminded me a lot of the last Jack Baker fight in the Resident Evil 7, actually.
I always say that that Nemesis has taken his previous beatings personally and has come with a vendetta, because the difficulty there is scaled to 11. Because if he hits you, it's game over. You can only take 3 hits and he will combo the shit out of you. And I was like, how the hell, dude? I really thought I wasn't going to get that, but that was for me.
And that was right at the end, yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so we're saying goodbye to Resident Evil 3 now, and I think the last game we'll talk about now, because of time wise, is there's some people say that this is
we can skim over, of course. We can skim over 4, 5, and 6 if you want.
Exactly, we can. There's no rush.
And 8.
I know 5 and 6 don't exist.
What are we talking about? 5 and 6?
Exactly.
What is that?
All right. So some people would say this is the OG or the GOAT. That's debatable. I played, like I say, we've both played both, and we both enjoy them. Resident Evil 4. We get our Leon masculine. Awesome.
Yes.
Badass.
Badass Leon, yeah.
Ladies man.
Oh yeah.
No hablo español. It's like, Leon. Leon, you're going to a Spanish country to look for the president's daughter, and you can't speak Spanish, bro?
You speak Spanish?
I mean, come on now.
Come on, man. Come on, Leon. Dude.
Yeah,
that is a game that I've only played once. I played the first 3 games so many times. I don't remember half the plot of Resident Evil 4, bro. I remember moments of it. It's the one out of all the canon games that I played the least. I've literally only played it once. And I remember really enjoying it. Yeah.
I've also played it only once, yeah. But I gotta say that Resident Evil 4 brought us
Over the shoulder?
not over the shoulder, the inventory. We could organize your
yes,
inventory.
The Tetris inventory almost, like where you could.
This simplest, stupidest thing, and that just blew up. Everyone loved it.
That was a great inventory.
There are videos of people, you know, like just organizing the inventory, you know. Bless.
That was such a cool thing to do, like and like I had my guns on like the left, my heavy stuff on the top right, my key items the bottom right. And I used to. They followed that up in a lot of other Resident Evils as well. So I actually love that design, and obviously the concept of the merchant. That was new.
Oh, he was awesome.
Yeah.
And so like
that game introduced so many new mechanics to the world.
Correct, and it took out of America. Of course, it's based in Europe. Apparently in Spain, and like another obviously a game that's starting off iconically because that build up, walking through the forest and getting to the town. I think Resident Evil does those build ups very well.
Really well. Absolutely, 100%. I was on my wish list. I really want to play it again before the remake comes out next year. So next year, January 23rd, I think the remake comes out. I am so fucking pumped for it. It's going to be a great time for survival horror. There's 3 survival horror games coming out around the same time: Dead Space remake, Callisto Protocol, and Resident Evil 4 remake.
And you're gonna get all 3 of them?
All 3 of them, bro. I'm not gonna get Dead Space day 1, maybe. I've only got, I'm gonna. These games are so bloody expensive. I gotta, pick the ones wisely. But Callisto and Resident Evil 4 day 1s, hands down.
All right, cool. I would say, excuse me. I would say, give Dead Space a week or so because it's an EA game, and we know how they are. I think they'll pull it off because they know if they fuck this one up, they're gonna get hit. But it's it's EA. It's okay. So Resident Evil 4, we got Leon, Ada comes back. Again, she's hardly in it. You know that's.
She's always in the background. She's always the side character, just like in the shadows.
Capcom knows how to give us blue balls. Because like she's really an awesome character, and 100%. It's like we want more Ada. Well, we do get more of it because she's in the mercenary mode there as well. But well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, even in Resident Evil 6, there was a whole weird Ada storyline where Ada was like cloned.
What?
There was a clone of Ada running around, and because she was doing stuff that was out of character, and then you realize, oh shit, that wasn't Ada, it was the clone. It is a whole fucked up story.
Okay, that comes really out of left field. I'm not sure how I feel about a clone thing in Resident Evil. I mean, it's funny to say a game where you fight zombies and mutated monsters. You don't find cloning very real in this world. If you understand what I'm trying to say, like,
saying, it's like, why is that off the table? Like, why does that sound so like out of the ordinary?
It's just very weird, dude.
It is very weird.
But anyway,
but, I mean, if you look at all these games, from I think Y5, 6, and then even 7 and 8, is such polarizing games. Well, I don't think 6 is a very polarizing game. I think 6 is just a shit game.
Yeah.
Gameplay design is very lazily designed. The environments, story was because they were weaving essentially 3 different games into one. Because there was 3 games in there. You played as Chris and Piers. That was the action. Sorry, I'm jumping over to...
No, don't worry.
You had Chris and Piers. That was the action sort of scenario. You had Leon and Elena, which was they investigated a town that had a zombie outbreak. They had actual zombies in there again. That was the kind of horror, you can't see it, but I'm using air quotes, horror scenario, which wasn't very scary. And then you had also a very actiony one where you also had a pursuer character, the Ustenak, in Jake and Sherry's campaign. So there
Okay.
was 3 different campaigns, and they sort of wove them into one another, and it was like a mess. Like it was just too much, man.
Yeah.
And that was that. Resident Evil 6 was just like a smorgasbord of things, of ideas that of like 10 not very well realized ideas. They just threw it all in. It was just like just threw everything in the pot and just stirred it all together. It
Correct.
just didn't
I
work.
think maybe it was. Listen, we have these 3 ideas. We have various ideas. They're not good enough for standalone game. So we just
Yeah,
put them together. That could be the reason.
yeah. And I don't like to lump Resident Evil 5 with 6 in, but those are the black sheep, really. Resident Evil 5 is when it went full fucking action.
Yeah,
But
I think that jumping the shark moment in Resident Evil 5 was when Chris is
Punch the
punching a boulder.
100%.
That
That
that's
jumped the
memed.
shark so hard there.
Again, I'm saying that in this world where zombies and mutated things are killing
Yes.
everything, I find punching a boulder is okay. This is my
Super unrealistic.
yes.
That can't happen. Not even in this world, that can't happen.
I mean, I did buy Wesker being mutated and doing the Matrix. I found that pretty cool. That was pretty
was
cool.
cool.
That
was
just
cool. I
elevated
enjoyed that
Wesker.
game, though. I really enjoyed the game. But I think, you know why I enjoyed the game? Because it was a co-op game. And that I've always wanted a full-on co-op Resident Evil game. I mean, the Outbreak games, they are screaming for remake.
Shit, the Outbreak
Dude,
games. Holy shit, dude.
Dude,
That's
you don't
a bomb you
understand.
just threw in there.
That is a bomb. And you know how disappointed the hardcore Resident Evil fan base was when they released Reverse. Or the
Oh no! Don't bring that shit in this. Don't bring that shit in here.
I don't think they're even bringing out Reverse anymore. I think just they just like said, okay, we're going away. We're gonna make this game, as best as it could be, and they just never spoke about it again. I wonder if they're ever gonna release it. But that was the opportunity to fucking make. There was supposed to be along with Resident Evil 3, my bro.
Oh,
Look how long ago Resident Evil 3 is out and Reverse isn't out yet.
yeah. Apparently it's coming out. It's coming out this month. I heard. I saw it on Twitter.
Yeah.
But no one is looking for. Who's looking forward to it? Have you seen this gameplay?
No one fucking. I played the beta. It is so shit. And I thought Resident Evil Resistance, the one before, the online game that came with Resident Evil 2, which was more like a Dead by Daylight kind of game where you play as survivors and you get the mastermind who is like sort of trying to hunt you down. That was alright, but I was like, eh.
We played that.
This one,
we played that. You, me, and Gert. We played that. We played 2 games at the most,
and we were done.
It was deleted.
Yeah,
and it blows my mind. Listen, I can understand that they've made the game, air quotations, and they want to put it out there, but I wouldn't hold them I wouldn't hold it against him if they say, listen, this game sucks, we're not going to put it out there.
Yeah, we're not going to put it out there. I'll actually respect them more.
Yes, they need because you know what they're going to do is they're going to put it out there. They're going to try and monetize it. It's going to be broken, and it's the whole trope of bad shitty games.
And the Resident Evil fan base, as much as I love the game, it has a very, very toxic fan base.
Fuck you, HC. How dare you call me that?
No, not you. I mean, there's people that genuinely like if something's shit, it's shit. That's just what it is. And then you get people that will just love it because it's Resident Evil. And I must admit, to a degree, I sometimes fall in that box. And you get people that anything that is outside of the OG Resident Evil franchise is shit. Like as soon as they deviate, and this is the point I was getting at when I was speaking about 5, 6, 7, and 8, is that was really when Capcom started experimenting quite a bit. Resident Evil 5 with the co-op, like I said, that's why I loved it, because I always, since Outbreak was just so weird, they released it, and there was multiplayer, but that was PS2.
Yeah, no one had internet back in the day.
The way you connected online there was very weird, and there was no voice chat. You could only text chat in the game. So it was such a novel concept, and that's why they need to make a Resident Evil Outbreak now.
I think
back in Raccoon City, that entire setup, the way they made Outbreak, just do that again.
I'm thinking HD. Okay, hear me out. Okay, so like you say, Resident Evil, us Resident Evil fans are very simple, and we know what we want. If you, like you say, if you had to announce Outbreak Remake, people will eat that up.
They will stand on their heads.
So I think here is an opportunity to take games that were popular, although maybe they didn't sell well back then, like Outbreak. I don't know how that went. And what was the co-op game that we played on PlayStation 3? Resident Evil...
Operation Raccoon City.
Operation Raccoon City, which I enjoyed, but it was very short. It was very short.
We finished it in a day.
Exactly. I think take these games, rework them a little bit, and then you put them out there, and then you throw in DLC of Marvin defending the police station.
Coming back there to that one. It's full circle.
Exactly.
Sold. It's going to get so hard, Danny. I'm throwing my money at the screen and nothing's happening.
I've played Outbreak, but I've never finished it because
I've never finished the scenario either. It was so difficult.
Yes.
But that was really cool. That really sort of gave you the sense that there was someone in the world with you, because there was two characters that usually followed with you, like AI. If you weren't playing online, I never played it online.
No one did.
Help you. There was people apparently that did it. I mean, it would have been so cool. That was before the, proper online gaming. So the online gaming wasn't. I mean, the concept of voice chat even wasn't included. Just shows you how much it was.
I think we could do Outbreak, right? Like, okay, think Resident Evil 2 or Resident Evil 3, the way to play the remake, and you put four players in this world, right? Like the police station. And now each one is got their own screen, as in the sense if anyone can go anywhere they want, right? It's not like it's not as limiting as Outbreak was, where everyone had to be on the screen.
Yeah.
And you make the game in the sense of, okay, we've got various things to do. Maybe throw in a time limit in there, and we're like, okay, so we've got 10 things to do. There's 4 of us, and all of these 10 things are on different parts of the police station, just to put in a location. And now you as the group have to decide: do we all balls to the wall, all 4 go, or do we delegate mission?
Oh, it sounds so cool, man.
I think that's
started on thinking of the best Resident Evil game, because I mean, tell me. Okay, give me the TLDR of a game that you would like to make or see. You basically explained it right now in what you just said. But just ideas, and it'll have to be in Raccoon City. It'll have to be the characters that we know. But yeah, just exactly like the exact same layout. We have to pick up things, unlock doors, and all these things. The exact same thing, but just multiplayer. So that's that for me in a nutshell. That's what I'd like.
That would be awesome. Just think of it like you say. Okay, we in the room. I say HD. Okay, we need the shotgun from the armory. All right, you go there, and then as we're playing, we over our headset, we hear you like, G-Flash, Daddy boy, I've got 2 lickers on my ass, get over here. We're like, oh shit, and we like drop everything and run back towards you. Dude, just think of it.
That would be epic.
Okay.
Epic.
All right. Okay, so we'll leave the games on a high note, but obviously we can jump back to them. Let's move on to the less popular part of Resident Evil. The movies and Netflix adaptation, if you'd like to...
Oh my gosh. Oh, before we jump forward, I just want to say, because we actually skipped out Resident Evil 7 and 8, I do believe Resident Evil 7 is a true return to form. I feel the series came full circle as well, because, it was first person, and the original first Resident Evil was supposed to be first person.
I read that. I read that today.
It's the most Resident Evil game since Resident Evil 3, the OG one, and Village really just expanded on that. Although I prefer Resident Evil 7, it was more scary. It was very Resident Evil mixed with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, in
Yeah.
in the backwater fucking bayou mansion
Correct.
there, very isolated. Whereas
Just
eight in the
just up your alley.
village, yeah, Joseph Valley. Village was a bit. You could see Village added a bit more action
Hmm.
in there as well.
Hmm.
It was a great game, and I'm waiting for this DLC. I'm actually keen for
I
this
was
this winter's expansion now, end of
I was
October.
just you just reminded me of the DLC which brings in
Hmm.
third person,
Third
and
person. I really think you should play it. I really
and
think you
that
should.
that makes me want to play it because as we all know, I'm a scared ass bitch when it comes to these games.
Yes, yes,
And
yes. I
when
know
and
that.
then thank you HT. And when 7 and 8 were first person, I was already I'm out because the
Yeah.
one thing I like to do is use the third person angle to look around corners.
Yeah. Oh man,
So
dude, it really is super scary. It is, and that was also one of my difficult plats. Actually, the mercenaries mode of Resident Evil 8 is very difficult. But I'm so glad when I got that plat. And yes, there are some leaks for Resident Evil 9, which is currently
uh-huh.
the working title is Resident Evil 9 Apocalypse. It's going to be
Ooh.
set in some sort of Midwest town. The way they explained it is like there's a town, there's a cave, there's that you explore, there's forest, surrounding forest. It's
Okay.
very much. It made me think of Alan Wake and Bright Falls. So just think Alan Wake, Bright Falls. There's like a ghost town that you sort of explore in. And there's a lot of like the main enemies are like Wendigo and shit, and like these what is it? I almost said fairy tales, but mythical creatures.
Okay.
Yeah, some weird stuff like that, and things that can emulate human voices. So you'll hear someone call you in the distance,
Oh,
someone
but
like a friend
that
of
is
yours.
that's a Wendigo. A Wendigo does that.
Yeah, yes, and it's actually this creature apparently, and yeah. So this is all the stuff for Resident Evil 9. The leaks.
Have they said what characters? Any
They haven't
characters?
said anything. They haven't said anything about the characters. There's
Hmm.
something else I'm missing that I'm forgetting to mention now. But yeah. So just check out the Resident Evil 9 leaks.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. Oh,
Okay.
and it has been leaked that we potentially getting the Resident Evil 4 demo at the RE showcase that's coming up soon. I don't know if it's the RE showcase or Sony one, but we will be getting a Resident Evil 4 demo soon.
It makes sense if the game is releasing in January. You say right?
In
January
Jan,
23rd.
yeah.
I think earliest next month, but I think December is when that demo will drop. That's where I'm seeing it.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. But yeah, so the future of Resident Evil, let's see how it goes. I'm very hopeful. As I usually am. There's always a tinge of disappointment because it'll never be the same. And I think that's in everybody's minds. But I think as soon as you realize that it's not going to be the same and you just embrace the changes for what it is, and take it for what it is, then you'll have a good time.
You can never keep everyone 100% happy, but I think as long as you respect the law and you build on it,
Absolutely.
you'll keep your fan base.
All you have to do is listen to the fan base. They tell you the type of game they want, which is a very good segue into what you wanted to talk about now, the movies and the series.
Exactly.
The Capcom and everybody else in the fucking world's incapability of making a proper Resident Evil adaptation or adaptation.
Okay. Oh my lord! All right, okay, all right, everyone. Take your aspirin and get ready for this headache that's coming now. We'll start off with the lovely Paul Anderson and his shit show
Paul
of
W. Anderson's.
yeah,
He's 7 films, 7 I think. Fucking hell! They just got progressively shit.
Yes.
More and more shit.
But the worst thing is, those movies actually made money. That's why they kept making them, and it boggles the mind. But actually, you know what? Before carrying on with this, it's the perfect way. How would I explain this? Like, okay, so we are Resident Evil fans. We know the law. Obviously, Paul Anderson comes in and says, "Oh, this is cool. Let me take a huge dump on it." And make it for the general public. So I've actually been on the general public side. What is that movie? The Man in the High Tower, I think it was called. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Watched.
Okay. Well, that's based on a book. So I watched that movie, and I came away saying, "Oh, pretty decent movie. I enjoyed this. And then obviously later on the fan backlash came that's saying that this movie is shit. This movie has nothing to do with the book. And then I was there like, okay, now I get it. It's like they always said, the movie's
Man
not
from Hightower.
Yeah, it's got what's his name, man? Oh, the actor goes, all right.
I knew you were talking about that. You're talking about Dark Tower.
Dark Tower, but I think the book is called The Man in the High Tower or something.
Yeah,
okay,
no,
I might be confusing.
It's a series of books. It's the series of books that
Yes.
And this movie tried to like condense it all into one. Yeah,
correct.
Yeah.
So
that was decent.
Yes, but like I said, because I had read the book,
Yes,
I didn't know what the hell was going on, so I just watched it and enjoyed it. And I think that's where the problem is.
With the Resident Evil movies, yeah.
Yes,
if you haven't played the game, you're gonna love the movies.
Oh God, I wouldn't say love, but shit. I mean, even someone who's brain dead wouldn't enjoy these movies. But anyway, okay, let's.
The first movie was okay. I think that was pretty decent. I think that's also when I was watching that film, and like halfway through the film, I'm like, this is so. Is this Resident fucking Evil? Like,
it's there. It's almost there. It's there.
Almost there, but I mean, where's all the characters? Where's Chris? Where's Jill? Where's the mansion? And then I realized about halfway through, like, this is the movie we're getting. So I had that disappointment from the get-go.
Yeah. That was our first experience, like I say, with the movie being adapted. See, the thing is, they throw around adaptation, and I think they use that very freely in the sense of this is our get out of jail free card. It's like, no, it's an adaptation, Like, dude, the fans have been very clear of what we want. Just retell the games in a movie. Okay.
In a movie. That's it. And they haven't been able to do it in 7 Paul W.S. Anderson films, 4 CGI outings. Although the first one, which was Degeneration, I kind of liked.
I think I watched that one.
I don't know if the first or the second one was Degeneration. I can't remember. But where they crash the airplane crashes in the airport.
Oh, that was a very good scene.
Dude, that was a great scene. That was a great scene. And against Cleos or something, it was cool.
I just like the way Leon walks in there and says, okay, listen here, motherfuckers. I'm going to tell you how this is going to go down. Because the army was there,
he was the expert. But he was. I mean, I love how Leon became the expert later on. Because him and Claire are known as the survivors of Raccoon City. So it's and this is one of the biggest things also that happen in the games, and they don't really explain it in the movies too much either. But we never see the actual downfall of Umbrella. But who the people are that are involved with it and stuff. But the CGI stuff, films were okay. Vendetta was the one where it was a super shit. That was a very action-oriented one, but that was the cool scene. You got a gun carter scene with Chris and Leon in a hallway.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Zombies like back to back. That was kind of cool, but other than that, it was. And then recently, the incredibly lukewarm Infinite Darkness. The last 3, and this is very so. Paul W. Anderson films. Let's just get that out of the way.
Yeah.
They were shit. They just got shit along the way. And I have a love-hate relationship with Paul W. Anderson because he made Event Horizon, my favorite horror movie of all time, and Mortal Kombat, which is a fantastic fucking video game to movie adaptation. Even though it was fucking cheesy, but it was
it was actually very competently done.
Very good. It was very accurate. The characters looked like the characters from the game.
But CHT, that's what makes it even worse. He made a very accurate Mortal Kombat game, and then I don't know why he couldn't just port that to Resident Evil.
Resident Evil, absolutely. Yeah. But I think the last 3 are the last 3 adaptations, or the last 3 pieces of Resident Evil media that we got, has been shameless in their attempts. So Infinite Darkness, which they released 4 episodes on Netflix. It could have just been a movie. It didn't need to be 4 episodes. It had moments, but ultimately failed in its execution, I think. Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City.
Oh God. Yes,
because
definitely.
That you know, that one had all the ingredients for a really good Resident Evil film, and they just
They shat on it.
they shat on it.
Yes.
Completely.
That
Completely.
he uttered the words, "I am a big Resident Evil fan. I want to do this
Yeah,
for the
Johannes
fans."
something, whatever. I don't know what
Yeah,
his name is.
and
The director.
and it's like I always come back to it was for me it was the disrespect for the characters.
Oh yeah.
Leon is not Leon. That's that guy. I don't know
That's
that actor.
Carlos. That's Carlos.
Yeah,
This is-
exactly. I'm not shitting on the actor because it's not his fault. But you take him and say, listen, dude, we're making a Resident Evil movie. For the sequel, we want you as Carlos. Okay, cool, dude.
Yeah.
And you get a competent actor there.
Yeah, you would have been a really cool Carlos, actually.
Yes.
Really cool.
Then
yeah,
you've got Jill, who is Google Eyes for Wesker, and is race swapped. You've got Wesker,
Yes.
who is this like what's the word I'm looking for here? He's not like evil. He's just like he's like
he was being manipulated, I think.
Yes, and that's I didn't like that either.
Yeah, no, I think I was more upset with what they did with Wesker than what they did with Leon. Because Leon is this bumbling buffoon that everyone just, you know,
laughs at.
Just laughs at, and just everyone just made fun of. But Wesker, he was completely out of character, and he wasn't the cool, conniving Wesker that he was in the games, you know. So those are the two characters that probably they had the worst touches on them. Then obviously Jill, closely behind for the reasons that you said. I think the only real characters that were kind of sort of true to their game counterparts was Chris and Claire. Even Brian Irons, I like the actor.
Me.
That actor, he plays in Sons of Anarchy. So fantastic. Donald Logue or something, or Logue. I can't remember his name. Such a great actor, but he was so shit in here. He was so
exactly. He was just there to spew 90s references. He's like, hey kids, this is based in the 90s, you know.
They laid that on really thick.
And I just couldn't wait for him to die. It's you know, I know you're trying to make I know you're trying to make him the arsehole and make him a character everyone wants to hate, but there's ways of going about that.
Yeah, I know you could just. That was the thing about this film. It was just extremely poorly written. And you could see that this was maybe like the first draft of or maybe even the second draft of a script. It wasn't refined. It wasn't very well written. It wasn't very well directed. The dude who played William Birkin, he was just so kind of warm.
And he's a good actor, but as William,
he's a good actor, yeah.
But as William Birkin, I didn't see him as well.
No, I didn't see him. I would have seen him more as a Wesker. You know what I mean? Have him with the fucking glasses and have the cunning Wesker through him. You know, that would have been. Well, I forget his name now. The actor.
Yes. Yeah. Speaking of Wesker, like the guy who acted as Wesker in the movies, the Paul Anderson movies, I liked him.
He was good. He was good. He was good. Yeah. So look, wasted opportunity. I think with the ultimate worst thing I've ever seen in any single Resident Evil adaptation appears in that film.
Okay, what's that?
And there's a scene where they obviously, this is one of those things where, again, the filmmaker just wanted to throw in references to the games. So get this. Irons tells Leon to watch the front desk.
Oh God! Yes, go on.
And he sees the whole truck turn over and blow up and shit. And the opening scene of Resident Evil 2, the truck blowing up, the truck driver, and then the truck driver walks in. And obviously Leon can't hear anything. He's listening to music on his Walkman. Yeah. And as it walks in, the music from his Walkman starts playing loud, and they're playing "It's Just a Little Crash," you know, that fucking song. And the freaking truck driver zombies walking in a flame into the lobby of the police station, and it's supposed to be, I don't know what they wanted to do there. I don't know if I was supposed to laugh, if I'm supposed to say oh shit, if I'm supposed to say wow, that's crazy. I didn't know. What I did was I laughed and I looked around. If anybody, first of all, I was alone in the cinema.
Okay, that's a good sign.
So, everybody else was smarter than me on that particular day, But I looked around almost like in disbelief.
They had the balls to put that in.
And that they actually did that. I was like, I can't believe it.
Yeah,
I laughed, but at the balls of them doing that.
But also, if you think about it, right, in this movie, the shit is hitting the fan outside the police station. It hasn't arrived. It's not in the police station just yet. But in this police station, there's like 2-3 cops. There's Leon.
There's no one.
Where's everyone?
Make sense.
Yes.
It did not make sense. Nothing made sense.
And you're telling me you're sitting there with those Walkmans. We've had those Walkmans because we are 90s kids. Okay, we know what they sound like, and that I can tell you now, they do not block out sound. And you're telling me a truck exploding in 20 meters in front of you, you're not going to hear?
Yeah. Dude, I'm going to stop you right there. Don't try and make sense of what happens in that movie, okay?
Yes.
Nothing makes sense.
No, so the scene that I hated the most, I think, was when they were in the when they went into the cells and they saw Ben, and Ben's like, my friend's not feeling so well. Okay, we all know the setup now. He's a zombie, and so Leon goes up to talk to him, and then Ben John Wicks Leon's gun out of his hand.
Yeah,
it's like, dude, really? And then obviously there's the guy that his roommate or his cellmate in this case gets up and kills him. The Ben is like, no one saw this coming. Yeah. Oh my God, poor Ben.
Yeah, it's so bad, dude. It's so bad that it's not even like it's so bad. It's so good. There was nothing. I think they did. I liked Robbie Amell as Chris.
Yeah, he did a good job.
He did a good job. And they somehow swapped out Richard Eichen for Barry Burton. Richard Eichen was in the Bravo team. He was in, was the Bravo team lead again?
I would not know, unfortunately.
Starts with the E. Joe finds him in the catacombs below in Resident Evil 1. And Wesker actually takes him out. His name starts with the E. It's on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, that was Rebecca's team lead. Rebecca was also Bravo team. So Richard Eichen, he was Bravo team. Richard Eichen was the one that gets bitten by the snake in the original game. Oh, that's another iconic fucking moment in the first game. Yawn was the snake's name. That was the one that gave me fucking the bejesus out of me.
I can imagine.
So Richard Eichen gets bitten by the snake in the game, but for some other reason, and Barry Burton is in A team, in Alpha team. So now there's no Barry in this movie, and Richard Eichen is now the new Barry, which is really weird. So yeah, just nothing worked. Acting was shite story, shit everything,
visuals,
everything was so cheap.
Yeah, the scene where they were
the zombies looked shit.
The zombies were shit. It's like the zombies. I think I've got a screen time of like 5 minutes in a Resident Evil movie. That's how bad this movie is. But going back to what I was saying, the scene with Birkin, and he's with his family. He's like I don't know. He's like cutting open a zombified boy or something like that, and his wife's there, and his wife's being annoying. It's like, please shut up, stop speaking. And that whole set piece, I don't know if you can remember it. That whole set piece was very cheap, and when he mutates into G Birkin, it was also very, very cheap. And that's like, but I think the worst scene as well is at the end when Leon shoots him with a rocket launcher inside a closed off area in a train.
In a train, yes.
Physics.
Physics, what is that?
Yes, I just for everyone to know, I did fail science in high school. Okay, but even I know that's not a good idea.
That's not a good idea. Yeah.
But man, and just to add on HD, just to add on that last minute detail, he does that. I don't know if it was Chris or Claire. He's standing right next to Birkin when Leon shoots that.
Yeah.
Okay. So how?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm done trying to rationalize that film. I've blocked it out of my memory. as much as I could. I actually get legitimately upset when I think about that film. It makes me want to speak about the Netflix adaptation more.
I think we should speak about it
Yeah.
because you tried to brave that and watch that. How did that go?
I did try to brave that, and I'll tell you what, it definitely had better production values than
Well,
Welcome to Raccoon City.
it's
They had that
Netflix.
going for it.
Mhm.
It's Netflix, although Netflix is on a bit of a downward spiral with regards to the quality of their movies and series. They have a few gems here and there, but I mean, mostly they're just chugging these things out. And this is just one of them, you know. It's so fundamentally not Resident Evil that, you know, if they just called it something else, it would have been fine.
True.
But yeah, the fact when it started, and I remember, you know, when they showed these environments, I'm like, why does this all look so familiar? This environments and where these characters are driving through. Boom, new Raccoon City with our characters, which is Wesker's two daughters, and Wesker's also race swap. Lance Reddick, love Lance Reddick. He's a fantastic actor.
He is a fantastic actor. I mean,
Fantastic actor.
I loved him. I loved him in John Wick. I know he has a very
he's really cool. Yeah, and he's good at video games as well. He plays Silence in Horizon.
Horizon, correct? Yes, he's the villain, isn't he? In the second one.
Anti-hero.
Anti-hero. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But and his two daughters, and they pulling up at the new place where they live in. New Raccoon City is now in Cape Town, South Africa. When I saw that, I started laughing. When all the local South African people came on screen and started speaking, I started laughing. I love my country. I'm South African. I'm not one of those people that's gonna go and immigrate to Australia to New Zealand for whatever fucking reason. I'm here. I'm a South African till I die. You put a South African in a film like that or a series, like, it just cheapens it for me in a way. Like it just feels too cheap, too homegrown.
Exactly.
It just threw me off completely.
It's just like, imagine, you know, Wesker doing the rounds and some guys being smart ass, and you just see Wesker walk up to him with that and goes, "Luister vir my mooi, my friend. Ek sal jou donder."
Exactly.
It's like, what?
It just doesn't work. It just does not fucking work. So that threw me off completely. And then I just realized that this was essentially like if the CW did Resident Evil.
Exactly.
It felt like a fucking like Smallville or fucking something that the CW would have made, you know? Just it is teeny boppy sort of TV series.
And that is why I think everyone, Resident Evil fans at least, are pissed off, because it's two completely different things. Why? It's like you say, name it whatever the hell you want to name.
Something else. It's not Resident Evil, you know.
But I think, you know, what I'm seeing a pattern now when it comes to adaptations. Like, they will race swap characters. For this case, Wesker, right? And then when the critics start coming in, yo, this movie's shit, or in this case, the series is shit, then they hide behind, you know, you're just saying that because we've race swapped the characters, or the character is, and you know, yes, and I think it's as right now, for example, going to the Little Mermaid movie where they race swapped Ariel. I think that companies are getting smart and are realizing, I think it's like this, that there is more publicity in hate clicks.
Yes.
The word gets out.
There's no such thing as bad publicity, bro. There's no such thing as bad.
So I think they are intentionally doing it, hoping to cause a backlash so people know about this movie, or in this case, the series.
Yeah. No, dude. I sometimes feel like people that get companies or film houses or whatever, they get the rights for these things that are established sort of worlds, you know. In this case, Resident Evil, and they. I don't know why, but I think they do. Some of the decisions they make, like they do things to purposefully alienate the actual fan base of it. You know what I mean? Like almost like what you're saying now, just to create the hate clicks. But I mean, it's almost like they're taking something, and we know that you guys love this, but we're not making it for you now. We're making it for other people.
That just boils my blood. That boils my blood when they do that.
now we race swapping or whatever for representation. I mean, that's the poor excuse and whatever. But because now, I don't know, man. I just like before we get into that whole fucking conversation, because we can that can take forever.
Correct.
It's just I don't understand why certain decisions are made, and everything we discussed here now. Look at this is something that one can compare it to, like the Star Wars fan base or the Star Wars franchise, the OG trilogy. People love that. There's the formula. It's right fucking there. Make more movies like that or expand on that. And Resident Evil is no different.
Yeah,
the fans have been vocal about what they want, and people choose not to listen to it. You can print money.
Yes, this argument that like representation, like I understand that back in the 90s, every character coming out was white. Let's be honest, it was a different time back then, and but to say, we want representation, that's why we're race swapping characters like Wesker. It's like, my guy, you do have awesome black characters in the Resident Evil franchise. Marvin, going back to him, and like you and I have been talking about, I would watch. I think there's a game that I think he could hold his own game, 100%. and I even think you could even make a series for Netflix of the downfall of the police station and Marvin being the star.
Just the whole Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3 storyline, flesh that out over like 2 or 3 seasons, but like really get into the downfall of Raccoon City, from, where it shows you like the days in the lives of the characters before the mansion incident. But, when we start hearing reports of, hikers going missing, or people finding other people, eaten, and just have that as the backdrop of the first few episodes and build it up to the mansion incident, and just there's so much, then give Resident Evil 2 and 3 at the same time, and then end with, the whole formula is there.
Exactly.
It's laid out for you, and all you have to do is just cast it and get someone to direct it, and there you go.
Yeah, each game could be a series, a season. Sorry, yes.
100%.
It's
alas,
just
that is the ups and downs of being a Resident Evil fan. It's like there's so much good stuff, but there's so much bad as well. Like I feel like I'm defending the series on the one hand, and then on the other hand, I'm praising it. It's interesting.
Capcom are lucky with Resident Evil fans, because in movie wise or series wise, they've given us complete shit. Yet here we are still asking for more, air quotations, in the sense that, listen, just give us the games retold. That's it. That's basically what we're asking.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. We are always asking for more, and this, and that's why they've shown they've listened. They've given us the remakes. At least they've given us that, and man, I'm looking forward to Resident Evil 4 remake. I wonder what they'll tackle after that. If they'll do a Code Veronica remake, if they'll do the remake of Outbreak. But we essentially getting Resident Evil 4 now soon. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, if we always give devs a hard time, of course, making remakes instead of making new IPs. But like Resident Evil games, especially the old ones, if they had to remake it, there is money there. I think the fans would eat it all up. It's like one of the only franchises where people would say, "Oh, you're giving me Outbreak remake, sweet. Operation Raccoon City remake, sweet," and people will buy it. Well, it just depends. It just depends. Hopefully they get their shit together. I think Capcom is just selling the license, and doesn't give two shits what they do with it. And you see, I think we need someone over there that's going to put their foot down and say, and like the Kevin Feige of Capcom.
We need a Kevin Feige in Capcom, around the Resident Evil series, 100%.
And he's going to
and understands what fans want, but also understands that, he needs to appease the shareholders. And, feed both sides.
Yes, yes, but you need to walk in there and say, listen, I know you want to do this, but it's going to blow in your face. You need to do this because this is what made the games special and memorable, and trust me, it will work if we have adapted right on.
There we go.
Okay. Well, the movies are leaving a sour taste in my mouth, and yes. Okay, let's end this on another horror franchise that I know you love, and I think we both agree that's pretty dead in the water at the moment. Silent Hill.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we need a whole other freaking discussion around Silent Hill and how much I love it.
Let's start from the beginning. All right, your experience with Silent Hill.
Yeah, our experience with Silent Hill, I hold it up there as one of the best survival horror games out there, because it is, along with Resident Evil. A lot of people look at Resident Evil as the pioneer, which it is, and Silent Hill was Konami's answer to Resident Evil, and the popularity that it got. And it's a Silent Hill 1, 2, and 3, and even 4. 4 is it's almost the same formula. 4 was a departure, and then afterwards it got shite after that, and there was a whole bunch of spin-offs, and it didn't have the same luck as Resident Evil, whereas people gave it more love. People still gave it love. I think it's all about
Silent Hill was a bit more niche than Resident Evil. I think Resident Evil got catapulted into mainstream, and Silent Hill was still there trying to make a name for itself.
Absolutely, but that's because you could add action into the Resident Evil world, whereas Silent Hill was always the psychological horror side of things. It wasn't with survival horror elements, but the harder part was psychological. So it was never going to be an action game, and that's probably why it maybe fell by the wayside. But Silent Hill 1, absolutely love it, deserves a remake. I have not played Silent Hill 2, which is apparently arguably the best game. A lot of people like the way Resident Evil 2 is the best. A lot of people say Silent Hill 2 is the best. 3 I've played a little bit, never finished it, and 4 I love. I played 5, Homecoming. It was okay, and my wife had a few of she had Downpour and Origins on the PSP. Also played a little bit, didn't finish it. But it is tough. I still consume a lot of Silent Hill media, so I listen to same thing with the Resident Evil game. Silent Hill has some fantastic music, so when I want to focus or I want to do something around the house, or I'm busy at work or something, I'll play Silent Hill
music,
chill mix, and I just love it. So and it also has arguably one of the best video game to movie adaptations ever. The Silent Hill movie was fantastic. I think it was really good.
Where W there?
Yeah, look, it's dead in the water, like you said, but there are rumors afoot that we might be getting not just 1 but 2 new Silent Hill games.
Okay.
One being a new one. Yeah, sorry, carry on.
So before moving on, keep that, because there's something that you said that I really want to that I find interesting. I want to expand on. You said that, and I didn't know this because I never played the Silent Hill games. That you said it's more, as Resident Evil was more actiony, because you're zombies, and that Silent Hill was more psychological horror.
Psychological.
And maybe I think that's what made it special, and it had its market, it had its niche market there. And then the downfall came when you say that they tried to make it a bit more actiony, and then what made it special, they threw out the window. And I think that's where most mistakes are being made lately when it comes to certain franchises. They try and copy another one.
Absolutely, they take the core of what made this intellectual property really good, and they just try to stick something else on top of it, or like apply it to something else. So look, as soon as you start to emulate another franchise, something that's doing it well, like we had that resurgence, or not resurgence, that surge of battle royale games. Everyone trying to make their own Fortnite.
Correct.
It goes like that. It goes like that. So
in this, I think it is good in the way that competition is always good because it always makes you up your game. I think Fortnite, I think Fortnite is actually a very good battle royale, and it's always improving on itself because
Yes.
they know. Listen, we can't slip because Apex Legends is in its own right
He's
is a
up there.
very
Yeah.
yes, and
Yeah.
but the thing is that's what I enjoy
Warzone.
because Warzone as well, and the thing is you can't have everything. You're gonna say, okay, this is what we're gonna do, and we're going to improve it, and this is what to make us special. So Fortnite is Goku running around with an AK-47, which I find hilarious. Warzone is for you guys that are a bit more I like my modern warfare
Modern
shooter.
Warfare. Yeah.
Apex Legends is I love Titanfall. This is but anyway, yes. Let's go back to Silent Hill because we're going off a little bit.
Yeah. So look, I
You were
mean,
saying,
Silent Hill. Yeah. So we do have a new Silent Hill game incoming, and we almost got one with Silent Hills. And Hideo Kojima, and I mean, I don't know. We all know what happened there.
yeah, with
If you
PT.
didn't, then just fucking Google it. But that was we almost got a freaking Hideo Kojima Silent Hill game, which would have been so special. But anyway, we are getting a new Silent Hill game. Apparently, it was leaked by Das Gollum, aka Aesthetic Gamer, on Twitter, and all his leaks, he leaked all the stuff around Resident Evil 8, which all were true. And there's other leaks. He leaks a lot of Resident Evil stuff. So he's leaked that they've got a new Silent Hill game coming. The code name right now is Silent Hill. Like it's the short message game.
Yeah,
It incorporates SMSs to your actual phone somehow. It's
They're
weird.
very-
It's a weird mechanic. It's
sounds very
odd.
trippy. Yeah.
It's very trippy, and then we're getting a remake of Silent Hill 2, which is very interesting. Something I'm very keen on. Seeing that I haven't played it, but I do want to play the original. I want to get the HD collection, which is
Is it on the PS? Is it on the PS Plus
it's
still?
not. It's not. Otherwise, I would have bought it.
Strange.
But it is quite strange. Yeah.
Oh well,
So-
I say strange, but then I realize it's Konami. Then it's not strange.
There we go. Absolutely. So, I would really love, as a fan, I love Resident Evil, but I love Silent Hill just as much.
But that's the beauty of it. Both franchises can scratch an itch that you want. You want to run and gun it a little bit, you play your Resident Evil. You want to suffer and cry in a corner, you play Silent Hill.
Yeah. Well, it depends what Resident Evil. The original ones, that's the thing. The OG games both played very similar. And what is so interesting around Silent Hill 1, while Resident Evil, you hear about the limitations that they had with Resident Evil 1. That's why they couldn't have 3D generated backgrounds. They did the pre-rendered ones. So the backgrounds were essentially just like paintings or like drawings. Silent Hill was completely 3D, but because they couldn't load the draw distance, there wasn't any draw distance that you could see the rest of the town, because they didn't have enough memory to generate all of that imagery. They put the town in fog, which was, it's a gameplay mechanic, but then it became an aesthetic, mechanic as well. Made it eerie. That town is so cool, and that story and that world is so cool. And I really hope and pray that we're gonna get some more Silent Hill stuff soon.
I mean, it should. I don't understand what Konami is doing sleeping on these IPs.
They're fucking making pachinko games. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, but
which is apparently really big in Japan.
Yeah,
pachinko
damn
games,
Japanese.
the big machines, the big machine games. Oh god, god. Yeah. Anyway, well, we'll see what happens. I really think horror's back. It's my favorite genre, survival horror. But horror games in general is really making a resurgence. Single player games are making a resurgence. We went through a big Call of Duty phase.
True.
And I say not Call of Duty. I mean with influences around Call of Duty and Fortnite and all of those things, and they will still be there. They will still be around. but
Correct.
there is
I
some
think
good horror games.
yeah,
coming.
Call of Duty blew up because of the age of the internet. You know, we had internet now in our houses, and then you can play with your friends on multiplayer, and then everyone says, oh, the future's multiplayer, and
Yeah.
and then they pushed the single player IPs to the side, which is a bit silly because single player is not dead. I mean, God of War proved that back in the day.
100%.
And it's just you don't need all the money, you just need some of the money is is trying to say I mean like this Resident Evil, the reverse thing that we talked about before. It's who is that for? Who is asking for a multiplayer Resident Evil game?
Literally no one.
Exactly. It's not like Dying Light. That's their thing. That's their niche. So I understand that, and then you put and they putting in Resident Evil characters in there. Hey, 100% fine. I think that's awesome. But this, come on, remake, like we said, remake Outbreak, make that multiplayer, but competent multiplayer, maximum 4 players. And like that idea I just said, you've got various objectives throughout the station, just to name a location, and you all have to decide to go there together or one by one, and I think that would be great. And I think that's about it, HD. I want to thank you for your time. And is there anything you want to plug?
Nothing particularly on my side of things, but I mean, there's something that I do, and I'm probably going to do it after this because I mean, there's a lot of things we discussed, and I just like to expand on that. But I'm an avid consumer of anything and everything Resident Evil and Silent Hill, for that matter. So there's a few channels on YouTube that I just want to plug. Actually, I mean, my favorite Resident Evil channel is Ink Ribbon. Kai is such a great Resident Evil fan, and he's got great videos from top 10 facts of things that you didn't know, and it's really things that you didn't fucking know. And he's to just other various concept videos, which is really cool. There's Residents of Evil. I just watched the video just before I joined this chat actually around, and that's where I saw the leaks. Residents of Evil is a fantastic channel. They're probably one of the biggest Resident Evil channels out there. There's Score PN, that's Score PN. There's Sphere Hunter. There's Biohazard Declassified.
Holy shit, there's quite a bit I'm seeing.
Those are just my 5 favorite ones. Then
that's the iceberg, tip of the iceberg.
That's the iceberg. That's the tip of the iceberg. And then there's I can't remember any Silent Hill channels now per se, but Avalanche Reviews is another good one. They do retrospectives. I really think you should check out Avalanche Reviews. So there's like hour-long retrospectives. If you haven't played a specific entry in the Resident Evil or Silent Hill franchise, go to Avalanche Reviews, watch one of the retrospectives. He'll take you through each game, but like with obviously footage of it, but in detail, so you'll know exactly what's going on. And it's a really well done videos. So yeah, Avalanche Reviews. But yeah, that's all I wanted to plug, just those great channels. And whoever's listening, if anybody listening, if you've listened this far, thank you for listening, and continue being a great Resident Evil and Silent Hill fan.
Correct. Yes, I want to thank thanks everyone for making it this far in the video. I was hesitant to call this a podcast, but I think it's safe to say this is a kind of a podcast, HD.
Yeah. I guess so. Discussion,
we're the next Joe Rogan, baby. It's the only ways up from here.
There we go.
Right, so like I said, thanks everyone for watching. I want to thank HD for coming on again. I don't want to name any names, but someone messed up the audio on the original video.
Yeah, this is part 2 or
yes.
V2.
I've actually put your take 2, so I know which one it is.
There we go.
So HD, always good chatting with you, especially Resident Evil. As you can tell, we can go on for hours. I mean, I think literally we could still speak for another 2 hours.
Absolutely, I've held back so much.
Yes, that's what she said.
That's what she said.
Exactly. All right, so 2 hours, I think that's more than enough. This is a series that I want to come back to and maybe get some of the OG platinum trophy hunters like G
There we
Flash.
go.
So once again, thanks for watching. Thanks HD,
Yeah.
and
Peace
I'll
out.
see you all next time.